Hey, Parlay Pete, you over there crunching on some rap snacks, a little Masterpiece special?
No, funny enough, I am crunching on some spicy Korean ramen lays.
Them sound like rap snacks.
They don't taste like it. This shit's actually spicy as hell. I'm a little surprised because I'm not a big ramen guy.
Okay.
But my goodness, these are spicy. I don't know if you've ever had spicy ramen, but
not spicy, but I've had some ramen. You know who's a big ramen guy?
boink.
Josh Holsey.
Really?
Well, there's a ramen spot by his old place.
Yeah.
And anytime you go there the first night, hey, you want to go to the ramen spot? Sure. I mean, I like ramen, so I'll tell you though, the first time I ever had real ramen, I was like taken aback by whoa. You can do this with ramen noodles? Like these little noodles I eat, this poor people food.
Right.
It's like a real dish that I can go spend $20 on. Where's my country uncultured ass been?
Right. They're throwing a boiled egg in there.
Yeah. Scrumps.
They might even pan sear the noodles themselves and still throw them back in the broth. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to growth, but I still have a place in my heart for a cup of noodles. And let me tell you, some of the best ones are the Master P versions. They're flavorful.
So I've had those. I've had he had one where it's like the New Orleans style, like a Cajun style or something like that. And then there's one that Boosie has.
Okay.
Like Boosie's face is like on it. But it's his version of like the ramen. It's cool. I've had them though. I like them.
Bro, yeah, I had them one day. It was like a chicken gumbo flavor, some shit. I was like, yo, hold on. This is flavorful.
Yes.
You know what? The cup of noodles, you got to add a little bit to it and jazz it up. These, bro. You add anything else to that, you're going to have high blood pressure.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah. So, because now, I had to look it up. Yeah. Hell, I've had all three. There's the one with Boosie is Louisiana hot and spicy chicken.
Okay.
And there's a creamy chicken gumbo.
That's the one I had.
And then there's the beef prime rib ramen with E40 on the front.
E40?
E4. Ooh. Yeah.
Those open Maine.
Right.
The face of the Bay. And speaking of the Bay, let's get into our
Yup. Stuff's going with nope. But
let's get that first topic.
Song, right? Yup. Choices. Nope. Funny story too. Before we even get in that, since I know we're going to get into the finals here.
Okay. With
E40. I asked somebody that grew up in California during that era where, for all intents and purposes, the West Coast didn't have anyone. I guess the game kind of was the guy that came on the scene, but
I felt like he was so mainstream that he wasn't like niche West Coast, and 50 broke him.
And for all intents and purposes, like, yeah, I guess you could say that Snoop Dogg was always still the guy that was on top, right? Because he had R&G. He could still
take my time.
Snoop really had turned into a straight up pop star, though. He's America's stoner. So I don't really want to count him out, but I asked the person that grew up in LA. They ended up moving here for high school, but I was like, just like that whole middle school era, like, and like the end of elementary school, like you're in 4th, 5th grade, like what were niggas bumming out in Cali? And like, I was shocked. But basically, she said like E40 and Too Short really had LA on lock too. I was surprised. I don't really know any of their songs like that. Like, yeah, okay. I think everybody knows with Too Short, like during that era, and Blow the Whistle was like what, 05, 06?
Hell if I know. I just know it's old. I mean, it's been out forever and it's hard.
It is. It's tough. I love that song. And Jay-Z ripped it too. Ask my nigga LeBron, so big we ain't gotta respond.
Talk to Deshaun Stevenson.
Yeah, talking about Deshaun Stevenson. Yeah.
Hey, so you want to hear something?
Back when the Wizards and Cavs played each other in the first round a few years in a row, and it was Gilbert Arenas and LeBron James. I used to love the NBA.
Me too. But that would have been a great segue. But hold on. We're talking about this Bay Area music, right? So when I lived in Monterey, I would go to house parties with the locals where I met my lovely, beautiful wife. And they would do these E40 Mac Dre sets. And me and my partner, WAP, who's been on the podcast, shout out to WAP, we would really just be sitting there like, hey, what is this? And some of the songs you've heard before, but like they in there. And I'm like, bruh, if you don't turn this bullshit off and play some Gucci Man,
Right.
don't nobody want to hear this. If we gonna go back into the time capsule, go back and play some Jeezy, go back and play some T.I. Go back. They like, bruh, but that's just Atlanta music. I say, no. That was mainstream music. There's a reason why the Bay Area music has never become mainstream. Nobody wants to hear that shit.
Yeah.
Lil B brought the Bay back, if we're being honest.
And so she brought that up too, because it was a woman, and she said the pack, right? And I'm like, okay, yeah. I was like, Lil B was in the pack, and I was like, bro, honestly, because that's kind of who I really think about. I was like, Lil B, like. And
before Kendrick, there was Lil B. Lil B walked so Kendrick could run.
It's so crazy though, because a guy like Lil B, when you think of him. I remember when I first heard him, I thought it was bullshit.
Same.
And the more you listen to the bullshit, you're like, all right, like you start kind of joking around with turning up to it. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're like joking around, like it's like this is so fucking stupid. It's like niggas are just going places, just cooking. Like it's like this is the dumbest shit ever. But then
I was a Lil B fan.
Yes, exactly. Bro, I know too many Lil B songs. Like he really changed the game.
He did. And bro, when Soulja Boy co-signed him, they started doing shit together.
30,000, 100 million. All my niggas go. So, that shit, yeah. You got.
Lil B brought the Bay. Lil B brought California back.
Bro, but even, people try to credit Chief Keef with this. But really, he the first nigga that was doing them just, I'm shooting my video with a cameraman, just me type of shit. He really the one that started that. Like,
right, he got a video, the video to Suck My Dick Ho. Yeah. It's like him walking through the mall.
Oh, and then think about how vulgar, like, his shit is, too. And then so another person I brought up in that conversation, because it's an interesting conversation when you think of California. Then I was like, a lot of people don't look at it this way, but Tyler, the Creator, is from L.A. Like, he's an LA nigga too.
I don't listen to none of that shit.
I loved his early stuff. I'm not as big of like Jew, because Jew was at the table. Jew really loves like his new shit. Like he really liked the 2 albums that just won Rap Album of the Year. Whatever.
That's how I am with J. Cole. Don't get me wrong, I like the old stuff. But I'm not like the big J. Cole fan. I'm more of a fan of the newer stuff as he polished his stuff up and he became more of a mainstream rapper. I actually like the stuff he does now. Cole used to be a lullaby.
Man, I used to not, but the hits were hits.
No. Yeah, he could always rap. The hits were hits.
Like the fact that he was able to get Missy Elliott. Now this is a Missy Elliott that hadn't been on the scene in a minute.
No, well he had the Jay-Z co-sign, man.
Yeah. Well, when he was on Every Day a Star Is Born on the Blueprint 3, I was like, okay. I was like, this nigga is up next, okay? Like, he's Jay-Z's next prodigy, right?
Yeah, but then you know how it get when Jay running the label. He ain't gonna let nobody outshine him.
I'll tell you where I got the respect for J. Cole. It was when Kanye put him on Good Friday, the Looking for Trouble, and he murdered it at the end. Like, that's really where, like, to me, like, the respect I at least got for J. Cole. But I don't know. I was always more of a Kendrick guy. I always thought Kendrick was the much more talented artist. And not to compare the two, but obviously they're going to always be compared.
You want to know who my favorite artists were out of that group? So the group you're talking about
Drake,
is Wale, Kendrick, Cole, Sean. I was Wale and Big Sean.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I still prefer Wale and Big Sean over Kendrick, J. Cole, and Drake. I don't think they make better music consistently, and I don't think they're bigger artists, but I prefer them. Like,
Meek Mill would be considered part of that group too.
Yeah, whatever. Meek yells, and Meek's a criminal. Meek. Yes, Meek is in that group, but Meek is also on that street shit. And what I liked about them, none of them were really on that street shit. Like, even when Kendrick talks about it, nothing about Kendrick says like he's a street dude.
we left out a person too.
Ooh.
Wiz Khalifa's a part of that group.
Yeah, but he went.
Wiz. You know, a lot of people don't want to admit it. Maybe aside Lil Wayne, and I guess Gucci, but Gucci to me is a product of quantity. He has so many fucking tapes.
Yeah.
Wiz to me is for all. If we're not going to bring up the idea of Wayne, like he really.
You want to say that Wiz is like the best mixtape?
Wiz, man. Wiz's
mixtape
collection is insane.
Oh God, yeah. Like,
it's insane.
You made me so. I'm glad you brought him up because
they're all platinum mixtapes. Basically, they're plats. Like there's a straight platinum.
Because Wiz went into his own little niche, and then when I listened to his $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, and he talked about all the different stuff he has money in, it makes sense why music isn't a priority for him because he loses money making music. You know, that's something people don't realize. Once these artists start investing their money and running these different businesses, and
they're getting to do what they really want to do,
right? Like. You lose money making music because making good music takes so much time, and then you can't focus on your other stuff. That's why Cardi B hasn't dropped a second album.
T-Pain had just came out the other day and said he made more money playing video games on Twitch than he did in music over the last 4 years. Now, granted, he ain't really dropped nothing, but
booty going up and down. I ain't got no problem spending all of my money.
and then two, you know what's crazy? I feel like that all these guys, it's like the labels suck all the good music out of them, literally. Because as soon as they typically get out of from under the deals, and either they get more control, that way they get artists of their own, like their music takes a dip.
But you know what else?
The only person who, like I said, and I mean I hate to do this, but Kanye is like one of the few people whose music it seemed like.
You know why though?
It got better. Like,
you know why?
Why?
Because Kanye doesn't need the label for access. Because Kanye came in as a producer. For one, Kanye can make beats with the best of them, so he can make his own beats. But also, people still want Ye beats. They still want to hear Ye's voice. So the label can't shut people off from Ye. Whereas if you're signed to Universal and then you piss them off and you want to leave and go to Atlantic, they just gonna make a call across the street and be like, "Hey, nah, you can sign him, but you know what to do.
Right?
Don't clear this. Don't spend this on that. This producer, have him send over the mid-grade beats that he don't want. So you can't play industry politics with Ye. Whereas if Moneybagg Yo pisses off his label, which is CMG, but whoever CMG's parent label is, he can't just hop ship and go elsewhere. Why you think Wale is where he's at right now? Because Wale pissed off label execs and he made stuff hard for himself.
There's a lot of guys like that. I mean, look at Lupe. To me, I love Food and Liquor and The Cool. I think his first two albums are great. And for what it's worth, in a weird kind of way, Lupe was kind of the first Kendrick, a little.
Okay, go further.
Can you?
I haven't listened to enough Lupe to have an opinion on him.
Okay, so his first
I like Daydream.
Most people, when they think of him, they will think of like the singles, like
Kick Push.
Yeah, Kick Push is great. I love Kick Push. I think NBA Live, that was like one of the songs on NBA Live. As soon as you turned on, I think
it was on NBA Live.
It was. I think it's not the one with Jason. Who was on the front of that? It was NBA Live. It might have been the one with Mello on the front. I don't remember.
Little fat ass.
But Lupe is another guy, just in that sense that the push got taken away from him because of like politics. Like it was just straight politics on his career. And like it's odd how a guy like that could just fall off after he did have commercial success. He got a cosign from Kanye, Jay-Z. Like he is getting cosigns from the best in the industry, and he can rap.
Yeah, but all of that stuff matters. Look at Chance. Chance had one mainstream product that worked. Mainstream.
Coloring Book, you're saying.
And then there's been nothing else since that we've cared about.
He dropped that bullshit album.
I didn't listen to it.
The studio album, the one where it's like a clear disc. Like
I know which one you're talking about. I never got to it.
Exactly.
I kept trying to listen to it. I just couldn't.
Well, and then you can't even say, like, what was the radio song even? Even if you didn't like the radio song, like, what's the radio song? You don't even know the radio. Like, there wasn't a radio song. Like, I don't know if he's somebody that's getting blackballed because of his, like, religious views. I don't, like.
He also married and having family and stuff. You know, sometimes people be so into, like, their home life and they're making enough money that what it takes to stay relevant in rap isn't important. Because now just think about our active great rappers. How many of them have a traditional stable home life? How many of them motherfuckers are actually happy? You start thinking about the music. When Jay-Z and Beyonce started having kids, boy, that music slowed down.
Yeah.
When Kanye and Kim were really in the heart of having kids, music slowed down, his features slowed down, you know, and now that he gave us Donda 2, he gave us the gospel album, all in the span of 4 years when his marriage was on the rocks.
Yeah. When things started getting bad, well, as soon as he aligned himself with President Trump.
Yeah, so
that's really kind of when stuff started going south, even in his marriage, too. Like, it was kind of all around the same time. He shows up to Trump Towers, I think, in New York. It was like him and Steve Harvey, like, linked up with that nigga. And then, of course, then he had the time where he wore the MAGA hat and Jim Brown was there. Nobody tries to get on fucking Jim Brown about being there that day.
Whoa. You can't disrespect Jim Brown because he was at the summit.
I know. I'm saying, though, but I'm saying it's the same nigga, though. Jim Brown was out there with Muhammad Ali and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But he was aligning himself with Trump, too. So
he wasn't hearing out.
Care. I mean, Kanye said George Bush don't care about black people. The niggas love that, didn't they? So he's already stood up for black. So I don't know. I'm just curious.
Because Kanye married Kim Kardashian, so he sold his soul to the devil.
He the only one that's getting out of it good, though. His net worth only went up.
I think James Harden came out all right.
He hadn't won shit.
You're right.
He hadn't won shit. Like, Kanye just won Best Rap Song at the Grammys. Still,
guess who's going to jail tonight?
Like, you know what I mean? He's a billionaire. This nigga's on Instagram calling out Adidas for making fake versions of his shoe, like of his flip flops. Like,
and they won't drop him
because they can't fucking drop him. Like, he's their biggest money maker. That nigga makes more money for them than any athlete sign.
Well, yeah. And I've been on the fence of getting me some ice trades because I actually like them.
They're solid.
Like I might buy me a pair of ice trays when I beat your brother in one-on-one.
You know, I'm curious as to where you guys are gonna play. Do you guys want to do that outside or in a gym?
No, we got to do it in the gym.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can probably go to my gym. I get guests. I can get guests.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to record it too.
Absolutely. I'll be there.
You want to get into our plan topics now?
Let's get to it.
So let me tell you guys about Truth Serum. The NBA playoffs is Truth Serum. We think about all of these awards, these regular season awards, and then we get to the end of the season, and rarely is the MVP the finals MVP. Rarely is the coach of the year the championship winning coach. And oftentimes you'll see a defensive player of the year get his ass cooked in the finals, if he even makes it, by a superior offensive player. You know why? Because the playoffs is Truth Serum. Because the playoffs is about winning. It's just not about padding your stats. It's about doing what it takes to get to the next game, the next series, and hoisting a trophy. The Larry O'Brien. That's what it's about. And when you have a random game in Oklahoma City on a Tuesday, the second game of a back-to-back, and you go for 45 against their second string because the starters don't want to play, yeah, that's what happens because it's just a regular season game. But then when you got to look at that man for up to 7 games, the same person who's picking up your tendencies, he's picking up your tendencies. The team can see how you play against their concept. It brings out different things. Our MVP, the Joker, he got swept. Who's more huh?
He didn't get swept.
What he got one?
They got one.
One. Sorry, gentleman sweep. Respectful.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Then you look at Steph Curry. Who's more valuable, Nikola Jokic or Steph Curry? Steph Curry is the linchpin of a culture that is now a dynasty. Monty Williams. What Monty did was great, helping turn around the Phoenix Suns. But a lot of that was signing Chris Paul. And guess what? Who's a better coach? Monty Williams or Steve Kerr? Steve Kerr. Monty Williams had a team that was focused on one thing, and that's winning a championship. You have Devin Booker who's up next. You have Chris Paul who's on his way out of the league. You had DeAndre Ayton who's supposed to be the next premier big man. Everybody's playing to prove something there in Phoenix. And then you got the Warriors who are playing for worshiping two gods, because you have the veterans who've done it before. Then you've got the young guys who want to get paid but also want to win. And Steve Kerr was able to make that work. Or look at Eric Spoelstra. I mean, who's coaching better, Spoelstra or Monty? I'm going to say Spo, because Spo had less talent. And don't come at me because I'm bringing up white coaches over the black coach who won the award, because Ime Udoka, he got the Celtics to where the best coach ever, Brad Stevens, could never get him to. These are three guys who could have, should have, would have been coach of the year. Hell, throw in Jason Kidd. He had Luka and spare parts. And got them to what? Was it game? Was it? How long did that series go against Steph? 5 games. Yeah, they got mollywopped, but that's fine. He got them to the Western Conference Finals. They overachieved. Oh, because they beat the coach of the year, right? See,
they embarrassed them in a game 7 at home.
Boom.
Embarrassed them.
And then we think about All NBA. And I know regular season award, but the playoffs is true serum. Jason Tatum did not look like an All NBA player in the finals. Now, we'll get into it a little bit later as to why, but he didn't look like he was All NBA. You know who looked All NBA? His teammate with the short braids and the receding hairline. He gave us 32 in game 6. He looked like he wanted to be there. So when I tell you the playoffs is true serum, because it's one thing to walk into a party, nobody knows you, and you walk out with something nice on your arm because you had a nice ruse. But it's a whole nother thing to have the reputation of being a piece of shit, and you walk in there and you leave the baddest thing in there, and she know that everything you telling her is bullshit, and it still works. That's the playoffs, when they know your tricks and you still trick them. What's up, Parlay Pete, man?
What's going on?
I don't know. Not shit, man. So I think the playoffs is true serum, because we get so hyped on what happens over 82 games, but what really matters is the quest to 16. And that quest to 16 really shows us what people are made of.
Let me tell you something that you said in that monologue that you just gave us. The one thing that separates a guy like Steph Curry and the Warriors, and how you distinguish who's the better coach, things like that, it is the culture. It's the idea that these guys know their roles. If anything, and that's where the consistency comes in. Everybody knows their role. They don't try and do too much. If it's Klay's night, which Klay had a couple in the finals, he had the game where he had
25.
If it's his night, then goddamn it, it's his night to shoot the ball. If it's Wiggins' night, Wiggins knows his role. And it goes to show too, we look at who Andrew Wiggins was before they traded for him, right? Sending D'Lo to Minnesota, which at the time, a lot of people looked at the deal and were like, huh? Which it made sense from a personnel standpoint for Golden State. They needed kind of a 3 guy.
And they got a draft pick. Minnesota got fleeced.
Yeah. Well, but think about it. Minnesota knew that the Wiggins Cat thing wasn't working. Plus, then there was, when Jimmy was there with them, and it just didn't work. It wasn't going to work. And they knew they wanted to keep Cat because Cat's their cornerstone player. But D'Lo proved in Brooklyn before he got traded to Golden State in a sign and trade for KD, because a lot of people forget that's how he ended up there. It was a sign and trade. That way, the blow to Golden State wasn't so bad.
Yeah, you think KD regrets that one?
Yeah, a little bit, because you're losing out on talent that you could have had. And I knew that the Nets still could have signed, but the Nets also knew that they already were getting Kyrie too. So they were going to have to trade him anyways, but they probably could have got something in return instead of himself in return.
Because understand that by KD doing that, the Warriors got Wiggins and James Wiseman.
Who did they get when they traded Jared Allen to Cleveland?
I don't remember. I forget that trade.
Hold on. Because that trade looks increasingly dumb.
You kind of hit on something. You're talking about the culture, and we're going to kind of bounce around here. That brings me to Steph Curry's legacy, because Steph Curry, if I have a son and my son says he wants to play basketball, I'm going to say, watch Steph Curry. Because Steph Curry, the way he plays, you can play that way from 5'10" to 6'10". It's not based on just God-given talent, right? A lot of what Steph Curry does can be developed, dribbling and shooting. But the most important thing about what Steph Curry does that I would want my child to emulate is that winning comes first. Yeah, he cares about his numbers. He cares about his legacy, but winning comes first. Well, Steph moves off the ball.
That's his role. His role requires him to be the scorer that he is. That's his role. But you're absolutely right. And that's where that culture comes in. If it's not his night and it's Klay's night, that's why Klay can have a fucking 39-point quarter. Because it's not about that for Steph. It's about winning. That's why Steph can take the back seat to Kevin Durant for 2 championships, to where he's not necessarily the guy, because he's not the one that wins the finals MVP, but it's still Steph's team, and we all know he's the leader of the team.
Question for you. Kobe's your favorite player.
Yes.
LeBron's my favorite player.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Kobe or LeBron would play off ball the way that Steph does? Throughout their skill set, because their skill sets lead them to being on the ball more. But Steph's skill set is an on the ball skill set too. He could definitely run high pick and roll all day and be fine. But think about it. Would they run off of screens and do all that work, all that running that Steph does, if it meant winning? Or would they play their way? I think we're going to win this way.
I think it's much more likely Kobe does it, just because, for what it's worth, to a degree, he kind of did. I mean, he wasn't running off screens like Steph Curry, but in the early Lakers offense, it's not like Kobe. Fish was still bringing that fucking ball up. Fish was still the point guard. You know what I mean?
Okay. Let me.
Rick Fox might be setting a screen for Kobe. Shaq might be picking
Let me slim it up for you.
LeBron has to have the ball in his hand.
I'm talking post Shaq Kobe, because pre-Shaq Kobe or with Shaq Kobe, he felt that he was who he was, but it hadn't been proven, right? But then he gets to prove it when Shaq goes. Do you think if Phil says, Kobe, you can win 4 more rings after Shaq if you play more off ball, you run off screens, you play Steph Curry basketball?
You want to know what Kobe would have told Phil in that situation? He would have said, fuck you. He said, look at Smush Parker. I'm not – we're not winning shit with that.
But that's the point that I'm making is Steph is willing to swallow his pride to buy into what the team needs from him.
Steph Curry wasn't doing that with Smush Parker. The personnel is set up for Steph to be able to do it.
Yes. Stop adding nuance. I'm trying to do some.
I'm just saying.
I'm trying to do some sports takey shit. But no, you're right. The team is set up for Steph to play the way that he does.
Yeah,
putting that out there.
Great. I mean, that's why they've been so successful. And Steve Kerr. I mean, we could argue all day about Mark Jackson, which you see Andrew Bogut got asked about.
Yeah, because the church shit.
Yeah, and so I don't doubt that Mark Jackson wouldn't have won a title with those guys.
I doubt that he would. I listened to him.
I don't think that it would be what it is with him.
I don't think Mark Jackson would win a title because I listened to Mark Jackson talk basketball.
Steve Kerr, what people got to realize too, Steve Kerr is, he's a part of the Popovich dynasty too, but he's really a Phil disciple.
You know what?
People wanted him in New York. Remember, Steve Kerr took the New York job, and then the very next day, took the Warriors job.
So, but think about this. Phil played for Lute Olson in college, legend. Played for Phil, and he played for Pop. So the basketball mindset he's been able to pull from, it's just incredible, And
he played with Jordan, and
he played with Jordan. He played with Duncan.
He played with Duncan and the Admiral.
So he understands how to do it.
Player.
Well, think about this.
Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman.
He knows how to manage Draymond because of the guys he played with. He knows how to manage Steph because of the guys he played with. He knows how to manage Clay because of the guys he played with. So he can take all of that. This is why superstars usually don't become good coaches, as the role player and see how certain things made him feel. Because Draymond said he was like, in the regular season, nobody on our team gets 3 DMPs. You would not get 3 DMPs.
That's why he could manage Kevin Durant and Steph Curry on the same team, and it automatic. We knew it was going to gel.
And Clay, because Clay got one of the biggest egos and is one of the most petty people on the team.
Clay, well, now it's more apparent now.
Because the way he called out Jaren Jackson for being a bum because of the
months later.
And here's the thing about that, though. I don't think it had anything to do with the Warriors specifically. I think it was a shot at Iggy because Iggy would not play with Memphis.
Yeah.
And they was like, hey, bro, fuck you. We good. Like, we're a good team.
Right.
But Clay also, when KD came and they said, so, what do you think about your shot, like giving up shots for Kevin Durant? He was like, I'm not giving up shots. And he gave up, his shot total, I think, dropped 1 per game. So he didn't give up shots for Kevin Durant.
Well, if anything, regardless, he was going to be more open. So it didn't, he had no choice but to keep taking shots. He was going to be more open.
So let me pitch something to you about Steph. I think Steph is totally mischaracterized. The babyface assassin thing, Steph hasn't had a baby face in 6-7 years. Since the dynasty started, if we're being honest. And they talk about how Steph is wired differently from other superstars. And to a degree he is, because for one, he grew up around the NBA and most superstars grew up poor. So he's
one of the few people who's
privileged. He grew up rich.
Yeah, like that.
He grew up rich.
Yeah.
Part of him being able to care about winning the way he does is because he hasn't had to worry about securing financial stability because he grew up with it. So I can actually be all out for the team. Whereas if you grew up poor, you always going to think about your back end. You always are going to think about your pockets. But they try to paint Steph as this guy who's not brash, who's not an asshole. And I go, bro, did you not see him count out on his forefinger and point at the ring? Have you not seen him throw his mouthpiece? Have you not seen him shimmy? And I think that Steph is made of the same stuff. Like when you saw him at the podium doing this right here, Steph is petty. Steph hears everything. And all of that stuff gets to Steph. And that's why he goes out and he cooks the way that he does. And I've been hard on Steph for years. But I've turned a full 180.
But I feel like that's the team in general. I mean, we just talked about Clay with it. We know Draymond. I think.
Well, you see Draymond call out Nick Wright?
Yeah. I love what he said to Barstool Presidente.
And he had his Lobos up there with him.
Yeah.
Oh, he called out Big Cat?
Yeah.
What'd he say? I didn't hear it.
He's like, he tweeted it. He was like, hold this L, sucker. Because he was wearing like a shirt that basically said "fuck Draymond." It was a Boston Celtics shirt, and
I think that's
I think they all listen to the noise, bro. Because first of all, you got to think about it. They won that one, then they blew the lead to the Cavs. So that unit is what they are. The last thing everybody remembers about them is that they blew it, and then it's like, oh, you won. What you guys had KD. We all knew that wasn't fucking fair. Then the next 2 years, there's injury issues. And it's like, and then this year they get Clay back halfway through the season, and man, they push through like they did it again. Like I would say that this is their most impressive title.
Absolutely. I was thinking the same thing. And, you talk about them hearing everything, and this is why I get so upset when I hear the media, right, talk about players, and especially people who are like Skip Bayless, the ones who are the super pro a certain player. He's tough. He doesn't let that stuff get to him, bro. All these men sensitive. Like when you're really good at something and you put your time and effort into it, when somebody who's not as good as you criticizes you, you take it personally. And then when they constantly do it, and then you see them get rich off of talking about you and saying things that you can't do, not knowing the work you put in, like the way people were talking about Draymond over the finals. And I go, bruh, do y'all not understand what he's doing? Even the stuff that looks bad, the shooting's terrible. He is setting the atmosphere for the Warriors to be able to do what they do. He's setting the atmosphere for him to be able to talk crazy, get away with extra fouls. Like Draymond was thinking over a 7-game series. He wasn't thinking game to game, quarter to quarter. He's like, this may get me a tech today, but it's going to allow me to do this next game.
He is going to be a hell of an analyst. I can't wait.
I can't wait either.
Yeah, I think he's going to be so good. I mean,
but I think Draymond can fight too, though.
I mean, he certainly is built like he can.
What, bad built?
And he's from Michigan too, right?
Yeah, he's from London.
But I think he's from Michigan.
Saginaw.
You said where?
Saginaw.
Yeah, so I know he ain't no bitch. Like, you know what I mean?
Because, but Draymond
talks somewhere where it's really cold. I don't know why, but like I don't know. I'm like, man, y'all the type of niggas that walk around, you got all that ash between your hands, man. Y'all not trying to hear it. Like, you know what I mean?
That shit be pilling.
Yeah, bro. It's disgusting. Like
y'all got cracked lips. Like y'all don't kiss girls in bars randomly. Hell no. Nah. Y'all had that line around y'all lip. Draymond grew with that line around his lip. That's why he's so angry now.
Right.
But for real though, I think Draymond can fight. So I think Draymond talks a certain way and acts a certain way because he like, bro, I'll beat your ass too.
Yeah, well, he is truly. I know that everybody loves comparing him to Dennis Rodman, but like he is truly the enforcer of the team too. And as much as, even though Steph is the leader, they're all leaders in their own right. He's the heart of the team. Like he's the heart and soul of this Warriors team. He is the attitude.
Hey, look, I'm gonna quote Cowherd again. Cowherd said he's the bouncer.
Yeah,
it's about the Warriors club. Hey, you got to clear Draymond to get in.
Yeah,
and I mean Draymond and Jordan Poole, they didn't have a great relationship at first, and because he talked about how Jordan Poole wouldn't listen to him.
Well, think about the KD saga. I think that Draymond and KD clearly respect each other.
They're friends.
Yeah, but I'm saying, think about that. There was always that talk of that. First of all, and then there's the story that he's the one that texted him after they lost the final that he said, "Let's do it, bro." Like,
well, because KD had already put it in his ear.
Man, God, I hate.
Draymond said he didn't send that text though.
No, that's the story.
But Draymond said he didn't send that text. That's not what happened.
Let me tell you, I really wish KD had stayed I think that the Thunder would have got themselves one. I think that him and Russ would have a ring, at least one. I wish that they had stayed together, man.
Hey, let's play a game here. What does the NBA look like if KD stays in Golden State? Because if you think about it,
they've won 2 of the last 3.
Okay, that's the easy answer. Let's forget what the Warriors look like.
3 in a row still, even with Clay out for 2 years.
Forget what the Warriors look like, okay? Think about what the other teams look like, what the other players are doing, because teams will be loading the deck again. Because the way the league is right now,
Philly it's getting back to be totally different.
It's getting back to 2000s NBA.
Be a little different. The Lakers would probably be different.
Brad Beal wouldn't be in Washington.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Who's to say LeBron goes to the Lakers?
He might go to the Clippers.
Or maybe he goes to New York and they clear the deck just like they were trying to do for Kyrie and KD. Maybe he goes to New York because the thing is look at it that way. I look at it just from the perspective of would he have really wanted to know that he has to go through Steph and KD every fucking year in the I don't think that he would have did that.
He would stay in the East.
Yeah, and so that's why I'm saying I'm like, or maybe he goes to Brooklyn.
Or back to Miami.
There's like so many different scenarios. The league definitely has got a totally different complexion. Jokic might not be an MVP.
Don't piss me off.
No, I'm just saying. I mean,
I don't even like talking about it.
Draft picks change a little bit. Like, for instance, because the Kyrie trade probably. Well, I guess the Kyrie trade still.
Kyrie,
Boston.
Maybe Kyrie stays in Boston.
Possibly, and I'm looking at, or who knows? Like, who knows? Because like I just kind of look at it like, okay, like Colin might not be a Cavalier.
No,
maybe LeBron stays in Cleveland, but somebody comes and joins him. Somebody does come to Cleveland and play with LeBron. LeBron stays there. Like, you could go so many different ways. Does Kawhi Leonard? Because we're talking about basically post that series. Does Kawhi? Because KD left the same summer.
Yep.
Does Kawhi
leave Toronto?
Maybe does Kevin Durant? I mean, now we're saying he would stay in Golden State.
What does Kyrie go?
I don't know. Toronto's open though. They just won a title and Kawhi Leonard's leaving.
I think Kawhi still leaves Toronto.
Go to Toronto?
I think Kawhi still leaves Toronto, but maybe he goes to LA. Lakers instead of Clippers. Depending on what LeBron does, because we don't think LeBron's going to go west. And I think Kawhi was more interested in getting back to San Diego
right,
than anything else. He's like, I got my 2 rings, my 2 finals MVPs. I'm good. Ha, 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 ha.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Now, I got a quick question for you then.
Okay.
Where do you rank this Warriors dynasty?
Give me years. Because if you get to give me the KD years.
From the 80s on up.
If you give me the KD years, I think the teams with KD have the potential to beat any team. I think they'd struggle with the Showtime Lakers because of Kareem, the early 80s Showtime Lakers, not
struggle with that Celtics team too. I mean, I know athletically they probably kill them, but I'm just saying when you really
still got Parrish and McHale.
Dennis Johnson, bro, like that team.
I'm not worried about the guard play. I think the Warriors
team.
The Warriors didn't have post defense, right? In their best year, they had JaVale McGee, and what Shaq and the 0-1 Lakers would do to JaVale McGee is disgusting. But 3 points are more than 2. I think the Michael Jordan teams is a great matchup for them. I think that's a great matchup for them. I think it falls right into what they. Oh, you got wing scores. We got Clay, a healthy Iggy. KD who can guard wings. Like
that is the mismatch on the floor though, because Pippen's guarding KD and
Pippen's getting cooked.
Jordan's probably maybe they do put Jordan on Curry and then Clay's getting Ron Harper. Yeah,
so here's the thing. For one, Steve Kerr said that his Warriors team would beat the Bulls because he was on those teams 96 through 98. But also, if you put Jordan on Curry, Jordan's get
6'6".
huh?
He's a 6'6" point guard.
Harper, yeah, I know, because Harper's he's a big guy. But think about this: if you put Jordan on, if you're smart, you got to put Jordan on Curry, you got to put Pippen on Curry, you got to put Harper on Curry, you got to switch it up. But they're gonna be running so much and getting hit by so many screens, their offensive game is gonna fall off.
Maybe even I'm gonna be honest with you. Maybe Pippen doesn't even guard Durant, even though you would think he's your best perimeter. Maybe Rodman is the one. I know you're taking him out of the.
Hey, remember though,
because Luke Longley can stay on.
Draymond could score still back then. He
was a threat to give you 13 to 16 points a game.
And remember, in 2016, Game 6, he had 32.
Yeah,
and was hitting threes. So
I tell you, just because we were doing the rankings, there. Well,
I can't. I can't rank them because styles make fights. If you give me a bracket,
the Spurs could definitely give them a run.
Oh hell yeah!
I don't know who the fuck's guarding KD because I guess Bruce Bowen, maybe. I don't know because I'm not putting Timmy on him. I'm sure that Timmy would take the task if asked.
But who's guarding Timmy?
Guess Draymond is who you're going to try and put on him.
Who's guarding
Andrew Bogut? Was Andrew Bogut on the KD teams?
No.
They weren't really running.
No. He was on. He played with LeBron that first year. Remember with Darren Williams?
No, I know. I'm saying, but okay. So yeah,
Bogut was on that team too. He got hurt.
You got Sean Livingston, right? He was on the KD teams.
Yeah,
Sean Livingston. He's backup point. God. It's so crazy how he crafted out his career.
I mean, yeah, because he went from
breaking his leg. Everybody knew him for that horrific Clippers.
I mean, I was going before that. He was the one who was going to be yada mean.
Well, he's a 6'9", 6'10" point guard
who had bounce.
Yeah, he could play. I mean, he never got to live up to it, but he definitely salvaged his career in Golden State. Like, he was great. In that backup role, Leandro Barbosa. Nigga, we talking about a Phoenix Suns legend in Barbosa. He's sixth man of the year. Man, who else did the Warriors have on those teams? They had a good Iggy.
Who?
They still good Iggy.
Yes.
Like Iggy that could give you 20 points on any given night.
You want to know what team I think would not do well in this? And we're talking about these dynasty conversations.
I feel like I know what you're gonna say, but go ahead.
The Heatles.
Too old.
And D Wade wasn't good enough.
Yeah, I was about to say D Wade was really good the first year with LeBron, and then the second year was kind of when the injuries kind of took, and then the third year, even when they won the back-to-back, you could tell that he was not who he was. Just like even now with the Warriors, Klay is still good, but we know he's not who he was anymore. He isn't.
Cooked.
He isn't. And he'll still be a Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
All three of those guys are Hall of Famers. Steve Kerr's a Hall of Famer. Everybody, Iggy is probably getting in. Eventually. He does. Let's look at the resume. Hold on. Let's look at the resume. You tell me.
I'm not going to argue with you, but he should not be a Hall of Famer. If your Hall of Fame allows Andre Iguodala to be in it,
let's just see. Remember, man, this is a guy, I think he's won a gold medal too, or maybe he didn't win a gold medal. No, yeah, he won gold. He was on the 2012, so he's got a gold medal.
When you talk about,
he's only a one-time NBA All-Star. He's a one-time All-Defensive First Team, one-time All-Defensive Second Team. He's a Finals MVP. He's a four-time champion. He's a first-team All-Pac-12. He's a Freshman of the Year Pac-12. He's an All-Rookie First Team.
He was the Arizona guy, wasn't he?
And then hold on. And then let me see what his career average is, because he's icing on the cake.
He's gonna get in.
Hold on. We gotta still pull it up. All right. Career-wise, and this number to me is probably a little bit lower just because of like these last few years.
Yeah.
Ooh, man, I didn't realize that. I guess he hadn't really been a scorer like that. Look, he hasn't averaged double digits since 2012. And he averaged 13 then. His career high is 19.9 with the Sixers in 07-08. But his career average is 11.4. He's an 11-5-4 guy for his career.
He should not get into the Hall of Fame, but he may. But hey, I got something for you.
The open shot, fate of the universe on the line, or the Martians have the death beam pointed at Earth. You better hit it. I want Iguodala. Iguodala's the ice water in his veins. Iguodala is that type of player. High leverage moment, fate of the universe on the line. I want open shot. I go get it. I want Iguodala taking that shot for me.
That's why Max got his ass sent to a new show.
Fucking bum, man. But
hey, what's up? You want to talk about the Celtics now?
Go. Yeah, let's lay into them and what they've got to do.
All right, where do the Celtics go from here? Before we start this, I want to talk a little bit about Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum had a terrible finals. He's 24, and he's the best player on the team. That's what usually happens. All your favorite players have had, damn near all of your favorite players have had a rough finals. You know, and if they didn't have a full rough final series, they've had rough playoff stretches. So for Jason Tatum, he knocks out KD, he knocks out Giannis, he knocks out Jimmy Butler. He had a hell of a run. The Celtics had a hell of a run. They went from a 500 team in December to a team who won the Eastern Conference Championship, okay? I don't want us to get so caught up into his lackluster finals performance in his first finals against a team who's done it before. You know, experience does matter. It's crazy. You know, we always want to get young talent when the old talent maybe isn't working for a year or two. No, continuity matters and experience matters. I promise you I'm better at sex than I was 7 years ago. I've done it more. You know? So same thing with basketball, same thing with high leverage moments. Experience matters. Do we have some people who get thrust into the big playoff series like Magic Johnson and he does what he needs to do? Yeah. He's the outlier. Kobe airballed game winners early in his career. LeBron was awful in 2011. You know, Kobe, Game 7, 2010, was terrible offensively. It happens. So what Jason Tatum has done to this point at 24 is amazing. Because guess who hasn't played in the finals game yet? Luka. The Joker.
Fucking year 4.
No, but the point that I'm making is people are trying to downgrade. People are talking about downgrading Jason Tatum's status because he had a bad first finals at the age of 24. And I go, it's something about getting there. He got there. He got there, and he led him there. I'm not saying that his performance was acceptable, but it's understandable.
You want to know, in a weird way, who these Celtics remind me of?
Hopefully it's a team that's not a champion. I hope you're going with like the Jason Kidd Nets.
No, they remind me of the Oklahoma City Thunder. With Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden, and Serge Ibaka.
I like it. Keep cooking.
It's actually a very good comparison because you look
that's one of your best comps.
You look at Jaylen Brown and Tatum, they're Westbrook and KD. Budding star. Some people think Jason Tatum is a top 10 player already. Hell, he's
first team All-NBA.
Yeah.
He's not better than LeBron at small forward, though.
Well, granted, it wasn't there was no Chris Middleton. They beat the defending champs.
They did.
You know, they beat Giannis, who some may argue Giannis is the best player in the NBA today.
Some would.
They beat the Heat, the team that had made it to the NBA Finals before the Bucks.
Yep.
The culture of the NBA, like maybe the strongest culture aside from the Warriors in the NBA.
You know, Golden State East.
And then they swept Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving in the first round. Impressive playoff run. Seriously.
It is.
They were up 2-1 on the Warriors.
They won 6 games.
They were up 2-1. I mean, it's hard to believe, but they did lose 3 in a row, but they were up 2-1. Ime Udoka is his first year as the head coach. Who was the coach on those Thunder teams? It was
Scotty Brooks.
Yeah. Now, similarly, even though Ime Udoka's first year coach, the Brad Stevens teams, they kind of were young but had been knocking on the door.
But
people forget the year that Dallas won the NBA Finals against the Heat. They played the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, I remember.
So similarly, this team has that experience of we've been kind of close before. Then we got over. Now they're the young guys that are old. I mean, the young guys, you know,
they popped early.
Exactly.
You know, we all got that one friend who lost their virginity at 12, 13. And you go, bro, what?
Yeah.
Like, what? Really? How? Like, what?
Or similarly, even more serious note, like somebody like a Mr. Turner that had a child well before all of us.
You know.
So he's had a kid. So he's already this is I've already had to grow up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because of this alone. Because it's well, I'm a dad. Yeah, I can still do some of the stuff. But
yeah,
this is you want to start talking about grown man business. This is grown man business.
Yeah, bro. Because we in college and we just want to get drunk and have sex. And he's like, yeah, bro. I
gotta go get some formula.
Yeah, I got a daughter.
You know, worst case scenario. Even if my mom is okay with looking over and letting me still kind of be a college student, there's still responsibility with this.
Yeah.
I have to pick her up. Me and her mom, it's not fair to her mom. If her mom's always sitting up, she's missing out on her college stuff, and I'm not. It's not fair.
And spring break ain't the same no more.
It isn't.
I can't spend my money on this.
Yeah.
Forget the time. I can't spend my money. So you grow up faster. You're right. Wow, that's a great comparison because the Celtics grew up fast. They were ahead of schedule because if again, you think about it. Yeah. I mean, I can think of a lot of people who had children ahead of schedule. I mean, it means nothing to the child because once the child's here, who gives a damn? You're here, and we're gonna live. But shit, most of my friends who have kids had kids ahead of schedule.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't plan on having my daughter.
Yeah, so it's crazy because they're ahead of schedule, but the thing is, are they gonna get the ring? Because sometimes you can have that kid ahead of schedule and she still gets the ring, right?
That's exactly why I bought them up. I compared them to the Thunder. Because how much longer will they continue to run this team? If you look at it, right?
They fired coach and GM already.
Right. So that's already changed. They're going to at least run 2 more years of this.
They got to get a point guard.
And you want to know, you said Mike Conley. You want to know who really would be a perfect fit, honestly?
Jeff Teague.
If you could pick any player who is legitimately a veteran and who would really actually be the best fit.
Chris Paul.
It would be. It's Chris Paul. He would be a fucking knockout for them.
You know,
and I believe they would win a title. I actually think they would win.
It would be a great thing, and here's what would also happen. You know all that Mamba mentality that Jason Tatum tries to summon. So for everybody who's telling him all the Kobe jokes, I think that's disgusting.
You mean the text message,
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was weird that he posted it, but whatever. He's younger than me. They use social media differently, but he had a real relationship with Kobe, and y'all making fun of that shit. And Kobe's dead. That's just not cool. That's disrespectful to Kobe.
Well, and more importantly, you name a person. If your favorite player isn't if your favorite player isn't fucking LeBron for the most part, anyone that's like our age, you're Kobe. Like we're talking about everybody. These are people's favorite players, literally.
And just imagine getting to spend a summer with Kobe working out, learning the game.
And and he's younger than us, so like even then, that would mean when he watched. But think of it this way: when he watched Kobe win in 2010, like we juniors and seniors in high school,
we grown.
He was in middle school, so he was really soaking it. Like oh, it's like Kobe fucking bro. We got to see young Kobe when we were younger.
He don't even know Fro Kobe.
But he looked up to old Kobe.
Yeah. Well, his game, it looks like old Kobe, and that's his problem. He need to watch more young Kobe and get to the basket to be young.
Yeah, take it to the fucking hole on niggas. Like,
but for like the people who want to make those jokes, that's disgusting because Kobe actually took him under his wing and helped him develop his game to become a better basketball player. But Chris Paul would show him what that Mamba mentality is every day because he got to work out off-season stuff with Kobe. He didn't have to live it every day where I hate this motherfucker.
If they could make it work.
I think Chris Paul is too real to go play in Boston.
It wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work. There's just no way they could facilitate that.
You'd have to move Al Horford or Jaylen Brown.
Or you could trade Marcus Smart because that's who Phoenix would want.
Yeah, I would you could package Marcus Smart.
Marcus Smart.
You could probably package Marcus Smart and Al Horford.
The money would probably make sense.
Hey, keep talking. I'm gonna look up the money.
And it just is one of those things where when I look at perfect fit, and I don't know how Phoenix feels about Chris Paul because the thought is, they were asking like, man, is he gonna retire? And he's like, he wasn't retired. Does Phoenix want to run it back with him? They're about to get rid of Aiden. That's no secret, right?
Shit, you wouldn't even need both of them. Al Horford's getting 26.5 next year. Marcus Smart.
He's getting almost 20.
Yeah, he probably is getting 20.
And then Chris Paul is getting maybe close to 40.
Close-ish. Let's see. Marcus Smart. Come on. Marcus Smart next season, 16.
Okay.
So what did I say Al Horford's getting?
27.
But I said 26, 27?
Yeah.
16, and Chris Paul is getting 28. So you could do Marcus Smart, Al Horford. You like just off the top of my head, Marcus Smart, Al Horford for Chris Paul, Jay Crowder, and Phoenix throw in a couple of draft picks.
But then, if you're Phoenix, and it's weird where you're kind of blowing that team up.
Well, they should blow it up because they chose to blow it up once they made the Ayton move. Once they decided not to re-sign Ayton, they decided to blow it up, which, again, for the price he wants, I don't think that's bad. Because actually, no, if I'm Phoenix, I want Rob Williams. Damn Al Horford. Give me Marcus Smart and give me Marcus Smart and Rob Williams because Rob Williams is going to make –
then they got to give you Aiden, or you got to get a third. Then they got to get Boston Aiden, or Boston's got to make it a three-way deal to where Aiden goes somewhere.
Not necessarily, because they could set up a separate deal for Aiden.
Here, let's look at this. Let's see. I'm looking at upcoming free agents.
Nothing you care about.
You don't have any free agents.
Who?
The Celtics.
No, everybody's locked in.
Yeah, they're all locked in.
So they got to make a move.
Now, Al's shit is not guaranteed, so they can. I guess basically it's a team option. If it's not guaranteed, or they could just cut him.
They're gonna bring him back.
Yeah, they're gonna bring him back. Well, because he's beloved in Boston.
I mean, he was one of their most consistent players throughout the playoffs.
He was until after Game 1 of the NBA Finals. He was a fucking ghost the rest of the season. But nonetheless. I think Derek White is overpaid.
Yeah, but
he lost that contract.
Ime, I mean, they gave up some draft capital for him. Ime coached him. Maybe they believe if they get him in for training camp, it turns out different. How much is Derek White getting?
Starter.
How much is he getting?
He's on the books for 3 more years. Next year, 16.9. Then 18.1, then 19.3. I don't think he's worth that shit. But like, he's too much of a role player for me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he don't.
His hairline is too bad for me to pay that much. I can't pay nobody with a hairline that bad that much money.
He gives me fucking role player vibes. Like, he doesn't give me a.
Yeah. They have the assets that they could make a legitimate Chris Paul trade.
And the question would be, you know, I'm sure that Chris, obviously he lived in Oklahoma, so he should be all right with living in Boston. It shouldn't be that big a deal. Like, you know,
he can hop on a PJ to New York whenever he wants to. He'll be fine.
He would be the best fit though, by far, in my opinion. If there was a perfect point guard fit in terms of skill, age, and then urgency to win, it's him.
I think the hard part for CP3, honestly, is that I want to say his family's still in LA, and because he's in Phoenix, he makes it work. Because think about it, he went from LA to Houston. You can keep your family in LA. To OKC, where he knew that was going to be temporary, back to Phoenix. Damn, CP3 has not played in the Eastern Conference.
It could be a part of the reason why he doesn't have a ring. I mean, the West has always been.
Up until this year. The East was a better conference this year.
But if you just look at the dynasties, 2000s to 2010s, you know, you start, 2000s, Lakers, Spurs.
LeBron, East.
And then now in the 2010s, at least the second half of the 2010s.
Warriors.
Yeah. Oh, God, when was he? You know, but then again, those Clipper teams, they played the Warriors one year.
The Clipper teams, here's the thing. Chris Paul,
they lost the second round.
Similar to most teams, most great players who didn't win a ring, he was never on a team that was a championship team. Those Clippers teams were never championship teams.
They were supposed to be.
I never believed in them.
Let me hold on.
Who's your get a bucket guy when you need it?
Hold on. Let me go to I think it was the 2016 Clippers. I just want to go to the roster.
And I'm going to tell you, there's nobody who could just go get you a bucket, who could go give you 45 he'll give you 30 consistently. They didn't have it.
I got to pull it up because these guys were.
They had two bigs.
Stacked, man. This team was stacked. Okay.
Look at her hips. Look at her legs. Ain't they stacked? Ain't she stacked? I sure wouldn't mind hitting that from the back.
Matt, hold on. I'm trying to make sure it's the right one.
Pull up the Matt Barnes team.
Yes, this is the team. 2014, 2015 Clippers. 56 to 26. I'm going to run through the roster real quick.
Okay.
Matt Barnes, Reggie Bullock, Jamal Crawford, Glenn Davis, Chris Douglas Roberts, Jordan Farmar, Blake Griffin, Jordan Hamilton, Spencer Hawes, Dante Jones, DeAndre Jordan, Chris Paul, JJ Redick, Austin Rivers, Nate Robinson, Hedo Turkoglu, CJ Wilcox.
Western Conference Finals at best. But you said 2016, you got the Warriors and you got the Thunder still together, and you got James Harden down in Houston.
I mean,
the second round team.
Top to bottom.
Second round team.
Too many guys.
Second round team, man.
Bro, Jamal Crawford just retired in 2020.
Yeah, Jamal Crawford.
5 years prior. So he was still a walking six-man bucket.
Yeah, walking six-man bucket.
Reggie Bullock putting up numbers with the Mavericks today.
Now.
Yeah.
He's gotten better. He's improved.
Matt Barnes was probably still a solid enforcer rotation guy that could give you 15 minutes. I mean.
No, I think they were a solid playoff team that had a glaring flaw. They didn't have – their wings sucked.
Yeah.
Their wings sucked.
A shooter.
Their wings sucked, and you got to go beat Clay. You got to go beat KD. You're not going to beat Clay and KD with them sorry ass wings.
KD was probably too old.
Hell yeah.
By this point, he wasn't Magic. He do.
Fuck no.
Yeah.
No, that's the problem. They were just too old. You want to talk football?
Let's talk a little ball, man.
You want to talk about Deshaun first or the quarter? Let's talk about the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Then we can talk about Deshaun after the quarterback.
Yeah. And pull up the list real quick. Hold on.
I'm pulling up the list too. Chris Sims, who I personally think is a hot take artist. He does good work. I stopped listening to them because Chris Sims is a hot take artist, and you can just he'll tell you why something that's a hot take isn't a hot take because he does the work and he wants to actually work in personnel and not in media. But dude, you're working in media, not in personnel, and you're Phil Sims' son. So stop with the hot takes. So he has his top 40 quarterbacks. And I'm going to just shoot through the top 10, and then I'll let you respond.
Okay.
Number 10, Lamar Jackson. Number 9, Dak Prescott. Number 8, Tom Brady. 7, Russell Wilson. 6, Matthew Stafford, just like Matthew McConaughey. 5, Aaron Rodgers. 4, Joe Burrow. 3, Justin Herbert. 2, Patrick Mahomes. 1, Josh Allen. I'm not mad at the 10 people he picked.
I'm not mad at the 10. I'm mad at the order a little bit. There's 3 that stand out to me more than anything.
Okay.
I think Herbert is too high.
Absolutely.
I believe that Brady is too low.
Absolutely.
And I feel like with Matthew Stafford, it's more of that flavor of the month because he's on top of the world. He's a good quarterback. He always has been. But what makes it different between last year when you probably had him 12th on the list and now he's 6?
I think he's closer to 10 than 5.
Agreed. I would agree with that. That's the
so I look at the list, and I love Burrow, but I'm not taking Joe Burrow before I take, for 1 year, Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert has all the tools, but Justin Herbert hasn't
have that year this year, right? We haven't made the fucking playoffs. We can't. The guy's not even made the playoffs up there.
You got to make you've got to make the playoffs, Justin Herbert. And Justin Herbert had the opportunity to make playoffs, and he lost games that he should have won. I struggle with that
against a quarterback who's lower than you on the list, where you directly had to outduel him in your division.
Nothing about Russell Wilson last year tells me he's top 7. We can go top 10.
He was just trash, though.
Lamar Jackson is a damn MVP. I don't like him at 10.
We got to remember what Russ has done, and we got to at least give him that credit. Last year,
and we got to remember that he had DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Those are very good weapons.
You're higher on them than I am. Like, to me, DK Metcalf's not a 1.
To me, DK Metcalf is the one with Russell Wilson because DK Metcalf can go deep and Russell Wilson throws a great deep ball.
I feel like DK is a low tier 1. Like, he's not.
I don't want DK on my team, but understand You know what? You're right. DK and Tyler Lockett here.
Really what he is he's a great 3. That's a solid 2. But they try. I mean, he got compensated almost like a 1 himself.
Those 2 carried me to the playoffs 2 years ago in fantasy. So let me throw my bias out there.
Would have like a 12 reception, 196 yard, 3 touchdown game, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, you know, why the fuck does this nigga have 40 fucking fantasy points today? Like, I remember that. No, bro, because Tyler Lockett had like a couple of games like that where you're like, I can't.
I think he did. I think he did you dirty 1 week.
Yeah, bro, the hat trick. He had a hat trick. And it's
you should have beat me that week, and then Tyler Lockett went crazy.
Right. I would have a game where I might have had 3 guys go for 20 something, and then out of nowhere you've got this wide receiver that goes for 39. Now, granted, your quarterback, I don't know who you had. You could have had
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers is giving you your 27, 28, like what he's supposed to do. and then that guy does that, and then your running back still giving you 15 and 17 each. Like, and then and then your kicker might give you 12, and my kicker gave me 5 or something stupid.
No, that year I had Tucker.
Automatic.
I'm telling you.
Automatic.
Okay, so
bad game is 8.
So I think 11 through 20 gives us a bit more conversation.
For sure.
James Garoppolo at 20, Carson Wentz, Mac Jones, Baker Mayfield, Kirk Cousins, Ryan Tannehill, Matt Ryan, Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray, and Derek Carr at 11. So let's go ahead and just take Deshaun Watson and put him in a category of, I don't know. We haven't seen him for a year. We probably won't see him for another year. We'll talk about him a little bit later. But I don't even feel comfortable evaluating Deshaun Watson because if we did, he'd be in the top 10, closer to 5 than Matthew Stafford.
Maybe closer to top 5.
Deshaun Watson is better than Matthew Stafford, okay?
That's what I'm saying. And I hate to say it, I got more footage of him doing stuff in the playoff. I take him over Herbert.
Yeah, me too.
I get the potential with Herbert, but
he's 6'6", great arm, tough.
Herbert hadn't made the playoffs. I mean,
but Herbert's 6'6" with a big arm and he's white.
And he got some wheels. He can move.
And never mind. So let's talk about this though, because I think Kyler Murray and Derek Carr at 11 and 12 speak to us because even though we put Deshaun to the side, I'd take Deshaun over both of them.
Take Matt Ryan over both.
Take Matt Ryan over both of them.
Probably
I take Kirk Cousins over both of them. I consider Ryan Tannehill depending on who's calling plays. And if Derrick Henry's in the backfield, I consider.
Yeah, I take Derek Carr over Ryan Tannehill any day.
You're right.
I can't. Nah, man. I can't.
I don't like Mac Jones and Carson Wentz. Really Baker Mayfield over James Garoppolo, and I don't like James Garoppolo. I don't like that though.
We got to go off of what we know, and what we do know is, you remember everybody used to be kissing Jimmy G's ass. Like,
look at Kyle Shanahan's.
I was like, man, this guy, he's gonna be so good.
Yep. Look at Kyle Shanahan's winning percentage without James Garoppolo. He would get fired. You remember I came out here and said maybe Kyle's overrated because his winning percentage was so low.
But who was he trying out? Beathard, Mullins.
Yeah, bums.
Guys that are truly backups in the NFL.
Well,
maybe even, camp arms.
And I think
these guys might be camp arms.
And that's why I think James deserves more credit because he's gotten to a Super Bowl and a damn NFC Championship. Yeah, like he's gotten to the Final Four. When he's there and he's healthy, they get to the Final Four.
That's the and he doesn't lose you games.
What's my man in Michigan State basketball? That's the time Izzo special, the Final Four.
Yeah.
So to say that Carson plays every once in a lifetime and Mac Jones, who had a rookie year, and I don't even want to talk about Faker Mayfield or Baker Fakefield. Only Mayfield we acknowledge is Zoe, and that's not much longer.
She's a boink.
I told her last name's Boink, and she was like, I'm still in Mayfield now. Yeah, no, you're a Boinkin.
It's like, oh, okay. Well, then call off the wedding then, though. And then you just look at her. It's just like, you're a Boink now.
She sent me this.
You're not.
She sent me a hilarious post, for their wedding. I meant to send it to. Well, I didn't send it to the group because everybody in the group's not a groomsman. So I'm like, I'm not gonna drop this one here. But let me see.
Be perfect in every aspect of the game. You drop a pass, you run a mile. You miss a block.
So it's like you get too drunk for the ceremony.
You fumble the football.
You forget your tux.
My foot off in your
you don't get my fiance to the church on time. She sent that shit to me. Like,
I'm interested in.
So we gotta plan this bachelor party.
Stuff out officially is the question.
Yeah, we gotta plan this bachelor party because we're inside of a year.
We do. We really do. And we'll talk about that off air.
Yeah.
I'm currently planning one.
All right, so let's get to 20. Let's get to 30 through 21.
Okay.
30, Jared Goff. 29, Tua. 28, Mariota. 27, Mitchell Trubisky. 26, Jameis Winston. 25, Jalen Hurts. 24, Trevor Lawrence. 23, Justin Fields. 22, Zach Wilson. 21, Daniel Jones. I don't think we have enough to evaluate Justin, Trevor, or that's it. Justin and Trevor. Or Zach Wilson. I don't think Mac Jones is that much better than them at all. And I also
why is Zach Wilson ahead of Justin Fields?
Well, because Zach Wilson was Chris Sims' number 1 coming out.
He's got to take that dick out of his mouth, then, man. Because at the end of the day, he's not able to get out what he really means. You know what I mean? Because it's in his mouth, so he can't really speak. I have a huge issue with Zach Wilson being 22.
I have an issue with Daniel Jones at 21.
But see, I've seen flashes of him, and I get what people think. He really ain't as bad as we think he is. But it's weird because he kind of has had talent around him too. Like his wide receiver cores have been people.
Daniel Jones is like Nick Young in the NBA. He shows you flashes of stuff that you love, but consistently you can't rely on him. I'll take Jared Goff over fucking Daniel Jones. I'm sorry.
But how much? I would too. I didn't like it with how Jared Goff, a guy that's been to a Super Bowl, been a Pro Bowler. I don't like how we have him at 30. Like he doesn't fucking suck. Like
no,
he's not great, but he doesn't suck. And so I don't like his position. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, man. I'd move Zach Wilson below all the guys ahead of him. Like from that 30 on down, I would put them all ahead of Zach Wilson.
I don't like the Jalen Hurts disrespect either, because although Jalen Hurts is not the refined passer that we'd like, he did lead that
better than Jalen Hurts.
Huh?
I'd take Jameis Winston over Jalen Hurts.
Me too. Jameis Winston led the league in touchdowns.
Yeah. And he was 5-2 before he tore his ACL this year.
Yeah.
I mean, and that was without Slant Boy. And
now he got Juice Landry, Slant Boy.
And
is Slant Boy coming back? I haven't seen any OTA talk about Slant Boy.
We'll see. Now, the biggest thing with them is going to be, the offense. With Peyton gone, I know they're going to probably keep the same playbook, but like
same OC.
It's still, but we know who's calling the plays. And
right.
So, and I don't know.
Question: how do you evaluate and rate a Mitchell Trubisky, a Marcus Mariota? Like, how do you rate? And then number 31 is Trey Lance. How do you rate them? Like, they've not given you anything. Like, they should be it should be a top 25 list if we're being honest. Because you can't, or maybe a top 30 list, but you can't rate all of these guys. Like, I mean, he has Kenny Pickett on here. You know what? Let's go to the.
He thinks that from what he saw in college, that he's already better than what we know Drew Lock.
I don't care what you saw in college, because based on what you saw in college, Dak went in the 4th and Russell Wilson went in the 3rd, and they're both in the top 10.
How disrespectful is the Tyler Huntley? I know he had the game. He had like a really good game in the regular season. I think they played Green Bay or something, the Ravens, when Lamar was out. How disrespectful is it that Tyler Huntley is ahead of Davis Mills?
Look here. I think Davis.
I think he's solid.
I think Davis Mills is better than a lot of people in front of him.
I think Trey Lance is a question mark. We just really don't know.
I am more confident in what I've seen from Davis Mills.
Sam Darnold.
Bro, why would you take Sam Darnold anywhere but to the bar if he's picking up the tab?
Yeah, as I say, he's got to pick up the tab. Even then, I don't want to hang out with him.
I don't either. So let me read from 40 on down so we can just close out this list. 40's Drew Lock. And here's what he said. He has the talent to be in the top 15, but he's not in the trust tree. We've seen snippets, but it never quite gets there. Decision-making accuracy, you never know what you expect from him. Don't tell me I'm top 15 talented and rate me last. 39 is Kenny Pickett. 38 is Teddy Bridgewater. 37 is Gardner Minshew. Teddy Bridgewater is a better quarterback than Gardner Minshew. Sorry. Tyrod Taylor's 36. Davis Mills 35. Huntley 34. Geno 33. Sam 32. Trey Lance 31. Bridgewater the better quarterback than Geno Smith and fucking Sam Darnold too, by the way. I think Sam Darnold has better skills, but he's not a better quarterback than Teddy Bridge over troubled waters. Oh, here we go.
I agree.
Here's what Chris Sims said. Top 40 quarterback countdown is underway. As always, here are the ground rules. This is not an all-time rank. This is not about career potential. This is not about how good a quarterback's team is. This is which quarterback I take right now this year with a generic supporting cast.
Okay.
So he's speaking to the skill. He's speaking to the skill set.
Brady's still too low.
Yeah.
This guy Tom Brady is throwing 40 touchdowns. I get he's 45. We know he's durable. So what's the issue? Why isn't Brady higher? I think Brady's too low. Brady's way too low. That's like one of the biggest takeaways. 8.
Bro, he's a hot take artist, and that's why he's not going to be in anyone's front office.
I'm okay if you don't have him in your top 3. I'm okay with that. But 8?
If he's not in your top 5, I want to close the list.
Yeah, well, I was about to say at that point, the list kind of gets thrown out the door. There's no.
But that's the problem with lists, man. In order for your list to pick up steam, it has to suck.
Well, yes, because you need something to talk about. It can't be too good and then be like, yep, this checks out. It's got to be something controversial on there. And I know that that's one of the first things that everybody probably saw was like Brady 8. Because you just have to ask yourself, for one season and one season only, who would you rather have on this list that's ahead of him? You wouldn't take Russ over him. You wouldn't take Stafford over him. You'd maybe take Aaron Rodgers. You'd possibly take Joe Burrow. You wouldn't take Justin Herbert. You'd possibly take Patrick Mahomes. You'd possibly take Josh Allen.
Honestly, if we're saying one season, all things equal, give me Tom Brady first, bro. Like, I'm sorry.
He's got the winningest track record. So it's easy to kind of make that decision.
And he's it's a mind game for him now. He will outthink you.
And he hasn't fallen off physically like Peyton did.
No.
Peyton won that Super Bowl because of his mind and obviously a very strong defense.
He won it because of his defense. He got replaced by Brock Osweiler.
I'm just saying, he still knew he could manage a game.
Barely.
He was better than Brock Osweiler still.
I mean, barely. They benched Peyton.
Better than him. I think
Peyton got benched that year.
You want to know what game did it? It happened the season before that. They played the Rams, man. He got really roughed up that day. And that was the end of Peyton Manning. Because even though he had 38 touchdowns, 9 picks, 5,000 yards damn near, that year, because he fell off during the playoffs the year before. That's what I'm saying. That's when he started to see the decline. But he had a game against the Rams, man, where he got really roughed up. He was never the same after that.
Hey, you want to talk about a quarterback who's getting roughed up in the media?
Is it in his pants where he's getting roughed up or where?
Well, I don't know if he's getting roughed up in his pants, but I know he's ruffled some feathers,
Well, he likes to be tugged on.
And when he comes.
Yeah.
He keeps it coming. So the NFL wants to suspend Deshaun Watson for his alleged actions with over 20 massage therapists. We've talked about this topic a little bit here. I've avoided it a lot because what do you want me to say? You want me to address allegations? I think the number of allegations speaks to something. I don't know what it speaks to. I think the defense says that some stuff definitely happened, and he's admitting that some stuff happened. I think the NDAs speak to a cover up of some sorts, but I also think it speaks to some complicity with the Houston Texans who were trying to cover their asset. So when you say the NFL wants to suspend him, I struggle with that because I go, well, you don't want to suspend the Texans.
They're going to get fined. And they possibly could lose picks. But because the first thing I thought of, not only were they supplying, but not only were they supplying the location and stuff, bro, they were NDAs.
Yeah.
Dog. They're getting fined. They're about to get hit.
My thing is, if you don't know, that's one thing.
No, man, they were fucking a part of it. They were.
Yeah, you're complicit.
Yeah.
You're complicit. Like Rico.
Just guilty. All right, at this point.
So, but anyway, it came out today that the NFL, the league-wide, wants to see him suspended. And here's what I'll tell you. The owners themselves, I don't think they're in a rush to see him suspended because of moral reasons. I think they want to see him suspended because they want that contract to get voided because they don't want to have to pay anybody else a fully guaranteed contract that big because Russell's asking for $250 fully guaranteed. But also,
well, because he looks at it and he says, well, we see how long quarterbacks are playing. He's like, I just had my first losing season after 10 years of winning. I have a Super Bowl. I've been it to you.
Exactly.
He doesn't have an MVP. I mean, I know I don't have one, but he don't have one either. So he's like, so what are we really – this nigga is doing this, bro. He's coming up to you. He's like, so what are we really talking about now? Like,
exactly. So that's why I think that they want
– y'all once y'all didn't have a good quarterback, why you came and got me. So I don't know why y'all wouldn't want to – you just gave up a lot to get me anyways. So he's got all of the bargaining power.
Exactly.
He does all the right things. He cheers for the Avalanche in the Stanley Cup because he's an Avalanche fan.
Yeah, I know.
He is an Avalanche fan. So is Sierra, man. Come on. They love – go Avs.
Sierra probably has that same emblem on your hat tattooed somewhere, like on the bottom of her foot somewhere. Stop it.
Yeah.
But the point is –
hometown.
The point is they want to see Deshaun suspended either for the competitive advantage or because they're pissed off at the Haslam for fully guaranteeing that contract at that level because they don't want to have to pay other quarterbacks that because billionaires like to stay rich and they don't like to give out their money. So that's why I think Deshaun is doomed because the league is going to conspire against him. Robert Kraft will make sure that he gets suspended when Robert Kraft – I mean – he's a rub and tug guy too.
But but here's the issue with it, and I know that's like a lot of things. Like I know they said like the Players Association tries to bring that up. They're two totally different situations.
Yeah, I mean Robert Kraft got called.
He was a part of a sting. Yeah, they were just doing a sting on the building. He just so happened to fucking be there.
Well, he's probably the reason why they did the sting on the building because they're like, hold on. What the hell is he doing here?
Right. What is Robert Kraft doing at this? In this this billionaire is going into this random part of Florida.
Hey, so listen to this. One of my partners told me a guy we know pulled up on him in Cartersville in a Rolls Royce. And I go, why are you driving a Rolls Royce in Cartersville?
Who was it?
It's somebody that we know. Like somebody that I know. Nobody famous.
No, I'm saying who was driving the Rolls Royce?
A guy I know.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying that they were pulled up on by somebody.
No, one of my partners got pulled up on by one of his partners and somebody somebody else don't know. Like we used to kick it back in high school. Like, bro, why you live in Atlanta, you live in the city, you can be in your roles in the city, you're fine. Bro, you bring that shit to Cartersville, bro. It might be one Rolls Royce in Cartersville that comes out once a quarter. Why are you driving that here? You're asking for trouble. Robert Kraft showed up to a shopping center with a Bills outlet, a Ross, a TJ Maxx, and a massage parlor. What you doing, bro?
But in Florida, a motherfucker really might not even recognize who he is
until that sting operation hit. But anyways, back to the shop.
That's a good start because you wouldn't. Think about it. If you were walking around, you were like, man, ain't no fucking way that this dude looks just like him, but it's like, ain't no way that's Robert Kraft.
Nah, you just gonna think he's just an old rich man.
Just an old white guy getting a massage. He just wants to get tugged on too.
But the thing about the Deshaun piece again, and I'm not comfortable speaking publicly about it. I think he does have a kink. I do, but whatever. I'm not whatever to dismiss what's wrong, but I just don't know. I wasn't there. But my problem is the NFL's was it personal conduct policy, where you can get suspended, fined for anything that you do that is damning to the shield, and that goes beyond guilty until proven innocent until proven guilty. Now, don't get me wrong. Private organizations can treat their employees however the hell they want. But the problem is the NFL does a collective bargaining agreement and players don't care about the CBA, and they should care about the CBA. This is something that you should fight to get removed from the CBA, because Ray Rice got blackballed from the league for knocking out his fiance, who became his wife, who he's still married to. I don't support what he did, but if she can forgive him, why can't he still be employed to do what he's dedicated his life to doing? Deshaun Watson is involved in something where he's not getting there's no legal charges happening. So he can't come to work because of an allegation, and that you're not going to be able to, if he doesn't go to trial before the season, it's not going to happen until after the season. You can't prove, you haven't had anything proven. America's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty.
The NFL doesn't want that outside noise. And I know plenty of dudes because they already get outside noise for them dropping the ball previously on.
Yeah. Josh Brown, Ray Rice.
Think about the Ray Rice thing. What was he suspended? 2 games, I think.
2 games at first, but then
already seen the video, bro, and they're like, all right, we'll give him 2 games.
and then when everybody found out the league saw the video, they gave him 6.
Greg Hardy got 6 games. I just feel like a lot of people think that they've dropped the ball, and now when you see a precedent set, like Justice brought it up in the group, but Trevor Bauer is in the same position, kind of. He had consensual sex with somebody, but basically, I guess it was rough or something, and then the girl didn't. Maybe they did anal. I have no idea. But regardless, he got, and it wasn't rape or anything.
No, after the fact, she didn't like how the sex went, so she was like, "Well, you did stuff during sex. I agreed to sex, but I didn't agree to this type of sex."
Right, and he's appealing it, but 2 years, like. No pay. And I feel like that's another reason why they want to ding him for a year, because even though he basically was just suspended a year, he was getting paid too. And I feel like that's a part of it. People always want to see where your money's going. People want people's pockets to hurt.
But here's the thing.
Do something wrong.
And Cleveland's catching heat, and people are thinking Cleveland's going to avoid the contract. They're not, because they wrote it in a way that if he doesn't play next year, it's only $1 million. He'll get when he comes back, he'll get. Yeah, they set it up so they set it up anticipating him not to play this year.
Well, right. Well, and he already got a signing bonus, I have to imagine.
Yeah, so I mean, my issue is just the hypocrisy, because the NFL is gonna try to make people think that they care about these things, and they don't. And
well, if anything, they want him out there because they're like, man,
better product.
But think about Rodgers, like, man, can you imagine all the hate eyeballs has them that we're gonna get on these? People are going to tune in just to hate, like low key.
People going to buy Deshaun Watson jerseys just to ruin them.
Yeah, burn them, like do dumb shit.
And
Halloween costumes.
And think about it. We go to AFC North. We got Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and the Steelers. Oh my God, headlines for days.
Exactly. And then you got to look at it even, I mean, I'm not saying just from a color standpoint, but, I mean, come on. Ben, basically, it's no basic. He did. He raped somebody.
Civil. Yeah, he paid. He paid that shit.
And what did he get suspended? 4, 6 games?
4, 6 games, yeah. That was pre-Me Too, though. That matters.
True. I mean, this was like, this is before social media, which is how Deshaun got in contact with a lot of people that was doing the work for him. So there's like that paper trail.
Here's the thing that I guess just bothers me about the whole thing. It's just all about saving face and not actually standing on your morals, right? I was listening to Charleston White earlier this week, and he was talking about the YSL the YSL RICO case. And one of the things that Charleston talked about, he was like, hey, y'all saying all this stuff in your songs, you saying fuck the judge, all this stuff. Hey, when you get to court, don't be crying and doing all that stuff. Now stand on that shit you've been saying. Say, yeah, you ain't talking, you ain't doing this. Stand on what you believe in. And the one thing about Deshaun Watson is he's standing on, hey, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm going to fight all of this stuff out. Like, I'm not going to settle, because settling is an admission of guilt.
Right.
And, you know, it's fun. It's not funny. It's interesting that we talk about this Deshaun Watson thing, because I think both of us have a raised awareness of how sexual acts can affect women. You know, I think we grew up in an era where it's like, hey, you try to do what you want to do, but you're not necessarily considering how that affects the woman. And I think that was society for a long time. And DJ Akademiks is under heat for some stuff he said 8-9 years ago, when we lived in a society that was not as sensitive and as open to hearing to how women are affected by sex and sexual acts. And I say this all the time. You have to view people through the lens in which the act was committed, not the lens in which you live in today. Because when I was 5 years old, my mom wouldn't be happy if I pissed myself, but I could get away with peeing myself at 5 years old. You're too old to be peeing yourself, but bro, niggas pee in the bed at 5. Bro, if I pee in the bed tonight, my wife is gonna be heated.
Well, she's gonna be like, "How did that happen?"
Like, bro, like, what are you doing?
I mean, you know, if you're peeing in the bed, you have to probably be really fucking drunk. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I can't think of how any other way a man would pee in the bed. Like,
exactly. But again, when you're 3, you can pee in the bed. When you're 30, you can't. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to apply that to other things that happen in life that are less traumatic. You got act going viral for pretty much saying, hey, if you got a college ID, you can catch this work. I don't care if you 17 and a half, 18, bro, you on this college campus, you can get it. Which in most states, it is illegal to have sex with somebody who's under the age of 18. In the state that we are both recording from, it is legal to have sex at the age of 16. I want to put that out there. So when you're young and you're gauging your age of people you're comfortable having sex with, age of consent should matter. But also what's even nuts is Parlay Pete here. I'm going to use you as an example because you're not married and I am.
Right.
You could meet a 16-year-old and go marry her next week, and it's totally legal. It's sick.
It is sick.
But it's legal. So when people
17-year-old niece, and the idea that I can marry her best friend.
Right. So with the DJ Akademiks thing, he was talking about Tyga and Kylie Jenner, and the clip it randomly popped up, went viral, which to me yells smear campaign. Somebody is upset about something that he's doing, so they're trying to cut his legs out from under him and devalue who he is.
Feed his family, huh?
Huh?
If Act even has a family, make sure you can't feed his family.
That's all it is. But the thing about it is you can't cancel somebody who's self-made from the internet because his fans heard that video.
If they've been following long enough, yeah.
You can only cancel people who work for major networks and stuff. But if you if we build up this,
I have a problem with it. You can't fire the CEO of. Now, if he got sponsors, they might pull out on him.
Maybe
that's how you can get them. Like they're the sponsors, but you can't
Spotify
stop him doing his job.
Yeah, like Spotify might say, "Hey, we're not going to host your podcast anymore," but he can go independent. Like,
yeah, YouTube is not going to remove his content.
No, Joe Rogan gets to say what he wants to say because he gets a number.
Didn't he say nigga?
A lot.
And that shit's already been blown under. Nobody cares.
Bro, there was a smear campaign out on Joe Budden. Joe Budden's doing fine.
He uses a monkey at the start of the show. The Joe Rogan experience. Like it's like a...
Yeah, real like it's just weird. But anyway, so here's a conversation I want to have because it kind of started in the group text.
Okay.
And we started talking about, how law can dictate what we should do, because obviously, at the end of the day, we are slaves to the law. But then I said, like, hey, let's have the gray area conversation about this when it comes to men and women around the age of consent having sex, because I want to put it around the age of consent, because you can be an 18-year-old having sex with a 17-year-old in a certain state and that'd be illegal, and y'all are a year apart. But your 18-year-old ass can go have sex with a 45-year-old who is obviously manipulating you and taking advantage of you, and that's legal. So I think ages of consent exist to protect young people from being taken advantage of by older people who want to have sex with them. I think that's where it comes from, right? Because you want somebody to know what they're doing and know the effects of what could happen with that.
I think that with the 16-year-old aspect of it, it needs to be set up to where there's an age, there's a limit.
Right.
That 16-year-old. I think that 18 and up, fair game.
Yeah, you can vote. You can die for your country.
Yep, cigarettes. You can buy tobacco.
I don't know if you can buy cigarettes anymore at 18. I think it's 21 now.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Hold on.
You can buy AR-15 at 18 in most states, though.
Well, yeah, we know that. Lottery tickets, too. You can get lottery tickets. Hold on. I got to fact check. Are you serious? Tobacco's 21 now?
I know it is in California, but I think it's like national now. So while he's looking that up, though, I agree with the 18.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Wow.
I would have never started. If we had this law, I would have never started smoking Black and Milds, because I only started smoking Black and Milds because I was 18 and bored and just bought one.
You couldn't get alcohol.
That too.
That was another way to get a buzz, or smoking a spliff. Because like some people don't want to be that high smoking weed. Like I'm one of those people.
Some people want to smoke mid and enjoy it.
They do, yeah, because they don't want to be too high. Like
I had a friend's dad who talked to my friends about how he don't want that good stuff because he just had them too high. But anyways, I think there should be like a grace period, right? And I think the grace period is, were you guys in high school at the same time? Because I think what Ak was speaking to was, hey, if we were in the same social setting, we should be able to have sex. And I don't know, bro. If you were in high school at a certain time, you leave, you come back. Maybe somebody who you were in high school with is a little bit older, and they're interested in you, or you're interested in them. I don't think that is creep, rapey behavior, because I've lived some experiences. I got friends who lived experiences where girls a little bit younger, and not like illegally young, okay, but like just a couple years outside of our age group, not in our social circle, and they see you when they get a little bit older. Oh, I had a crush on you when I was in like 8th grade. Ooh, now we like the same age now, and you go, well, wow.
That shit happened to me once. Well, it didn't happen to me, but there was this girl that I went to high school with.
Okay.
8th grade. She was in 8th grade when I was a senior. So in high school at Mount Vernon, 7th through 12th, we were in the building. Yeah. Yep. And not to mention, I had teammates that were in the 8th grade. They were obviously very good. Both of them ended up playing D1.
Okay.
So they were really good. Like they were freaks. They were prodigies. And basically, point being, graduate, like she tells me this stuff. I didn't even know how to process it then. She wasn't a bad looking girl. And obviously she was an older 8th grader too. So I was always younger because my birthday is in August.
Okay.
I was 17 when I graduated high school, but she was probably 14. And so like, I wasn't interested or anything, but then a few years later, she is 18 and like reaches out to me.
Run it.
it was just interesting as fuck though, because it's like in the back of my mind, whenever I think about this person, I'm thinking to myself, I know that like she's attracted to me because she made it known long ago. And now it's 4 years later and she's reaching out to me in the city and is like, hey, what are you up to? And this stuff's weird. You know, it can get weird, but like, because it's like, well, what are you thinking that way back then? But it's like, no, you weren't. Everybody, that's why to me at 18, now look, I ain't trying to hang out with no 18-year-old, even at this age. At 28, I'm not trying to hang out with an 18-year-old because if I can't, like you said, we can't go to a bar together.
Oh yeah, I said that off mic. If we can't, so here's the thing I said off mic, right? I said if you're at a college party and you're a college student, you're not checking IDs because you assume everybody there is of the age of your age bracket. And then when you go past college parties and you become an adult and you go to bars and clubs that are 21 and up, you assume that everyone is there is of age. So you're not thinking about, hey, let me see your ID card. Now you're well aware of, oh, she look kind of young, especially when you get like us, like I'm 30, you're 28. Certain shit, you be like, yo, baby, you 22. I'm married. This is before I was married, before I was dating my wife. Get away from me. Like I don't even like your young people energy. And I think that's another thing that people miss. Like, yeah, when you start getting older, absolutely, you can knock off young women. That sounds so disgusting. You can court, date, have sex with young women, but like the shit they be into ain't the shit that we be into. Like, think about us, bro. We're to young girls, we'd be boring as hell because we really want to go to a low-key bar or be at a house and have our own liquor and talk loud.
Yeah, play our music.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not doing that, then I want to be out of town.
Bro.
You know what I mean? That's the date I want to be on. I want to go out of town. Like, I'm not, if I'm going to be in my city where we live, yeah, okay, we can go get a nice dinner. We can go, whether it be a place I've been or you've been or neither of us have been, we can go do that. Like, that's cool. But if there's not like something going on where I know, like, I don't know, I'm meeting you and like you're out, you're like, yeah, we're here. Come meet up with us. We're not doing something like that. Like, I'm not just out just randomly like, oh, hey, let's hang out. And then you're like trying to force me to go do something I don't necessarily really want to go out and do. Like, I'm past that stage. Like, I'm not trying to do no dumb shit like that.
Don't nobody want to be out somewhere where it's super loud. You're overpaying for drinks because also
it's overcrowded. You're not even like, you don't got no space. You trying to find a place to sit down.
And the quality of alcohol that we drink has also increased. So then why are we paying? Why am I paying this much for every other drink that you're going to water down with some bullshit that I don't even really want? But I'm also not trying to spend $200 at the bar when I can just go buy a $50 bottle of Lobos and call it a night. And we can kick it at the house because we're grown. So we were asking this DJ Ak whack to say all this. I don't think Ak was whack for what he said when he said it. I think that in today's climate,
of what he was saying it as, he was saying it as if you're a college student and you're at a college party, nobody's asking for an ID.
And no one's caring.
It's apparent if you're a senior or junior, sophomore, or freshman that if you all go to school together, it's all consensual age. Now, certainly if he says that today as a 30-year-old, it's like, well, what are you even thinking about that for?
Yeah, bro, you're rich.
Then it gets a little weird. Like, yeah, because then it's like, who made you want to talk about that?
But I also, but I also think, though, now predatory behavior does exist within the age brackets. Like, there are guys who prey on girls.
I drove by Morehouse in Spelman for the first time. Yesterday, I had to go around because I had to get wings for the game from JR Crickets on MLK. You know that McDonald's shut down, right? There. You remember the one on MLK? Now, well, it's just interesting because of how much some of that stuff's changed over there. But I saw that there's a Zaxby's over there now. I was like,
yeah, bro, it looks gentrification, man.
right there when you get ready to go down before you get to Westview, like the getting off on 20 at the exit, there's like a YMCA, like there's like a building, like an apartment building.
Bruh, I know it's
that church, like
yes, I know. It's a nice apartment building. They got a nice ass Circle K that ain't a Chevy no more, bruh.
yeah, I haven't driven over there. I haven't driven by the school because think out, we haven't done. Well, I know you haven't done one since, but I haven't done. The only other times I would ever go to school, I guess I went to Coach Brewer's funeral, but like,
there's no reason to go over there, man.
Yeah, I'm never over there, but I live down the street. Dude, like it ain't like I don't live far, but
so here's the thing.
I'm not a predator, but like, yeah, predator behavior would be people that like scope in on like shit like that. Like,
dog, you remember my old place in San Diego State? In San Diego, I live right by San Diego State. Did we ever do
next to people that were living on camp, like that went to school there?
Right. Did we ever, like when you came to visit, did we do anything at San Diego State?
No.
Like, I lived there because it was cheap. And I went to one party on campus and I was like 23, maybe 24. And when I got there,
said you could have passed as grad, like as a
right.
grad.
But like I was like
new grads too.
Exactly. And I was like walking around, and then I ran into some people. We started talking. They're like, "Hey, we're having a party. Come through." I'm like, "All right, bet." And I get there, and then I'm drinking, and they like, "Hey, who can go make a beer run? Anybody got a fake?" And I go, "What y'all want? Like, I can go get a 30-pack real quick." So I go and get it, and then after that, I like leave. I go, "This is weird." Like,
all right, y'all take care. Y'all enjoy that beer now.
I'm like, yeah. I'm just like. They look at me and incriminate myself, allegedly. But not, you really sit there and you go, oh, I didn't know y'all were kids. Get the fuck away from me.
Right.
I'm going to the bars. And then after that, I honestly was like, yeah, I'm not hanging out. I live here because it's cheap and it's spacious. But I'm only living here.
Right. Yeah, and like I said, I think that just the biggest thing when it came to Axe comments were the context that it was used in. I don't even care. Now, actually, I do care about the age just because, like I said, just because, like, well, what would make you be thinking about that conversation? Even while saying, well, Tiger and Kylie Jenner or whatever, like,
and what Tiger did was some creepy shit. By the way, it was creepy. Yeah. I mean, she was fine, but it was creepy. It's creepy.
Right.
And an interesting conversation I had around that was like, well, you can't put age or education level on maturity. And I go, yeah, I know, but still, your frontal lobe doesn't develop until 25. So I ain't gonna lie, bro. When you get to a certain level of maturity, you don't want to deal with immature women, immature people, like even women. Like, you don't want to be like, yo, that childish is annoying.
Yeah.
Like, I remember crossing over from that. We're like, I meet you. It's like, are we gonna fuck, or is it like, no, we're having a conversation to fuck. When right. Like, it used to be we're going home and I don't know what's gonna happen. To you get to a certain age, like, no, we both know what's gonna happen. And when you get to that age
you're based on this conversation, I'm gonna know if that's even what you want to do, anyways.
Right, because I mean, how many times did we hang out with girls in college and they just want to come over to hang out? It's like, hey, shorty, it's 2:00. Are you fucking or are you leaving? Yeah. Oh, I just wanted to hang out. Can I like spend the night? I mean, you can. Yeah, you're welcome to spend the night here. And like, I'm not going to take advantage of you, but I want to be honest with you. I don't really want you to spend the night here. Like, I wanted you here to have sex. Then you get a little bit older and it's understood. Like, hey, all this red tape don't exist no more. It's like, I'm not entertaining you if I'm not willing to go there with you.
Once you bust that nut, man, it's like, golly, you're like, ooh, man, I can't wait to just like not see you again. I'm ready to lay it down, man. Like, hell, anything to avoid having to keep talking to you now. You've done what you need to do. Like,
but as we've gotten older,
like, you do want them there.
But when you get older, you start to deal with women who are on the same page, and they understand what you want. You understand what they want. And if they're not interested, they don't entertain it. And if they are interested, typically, once we get to the house, yeah, you know what I mean?
Man, I just hate cleanliness. I just hate like the idea of like people like wanting to like it's like it's not that I don't want to hang out. It's just like, why are you like forcing this? Like, can we not just live normal lives? Like, I mean, I know goddamn well there's no way that you're thinking about me like this already. Like we haven't even done anything. Like, I mean, yeah, we had sex, but like we haven't even done anything. Like, what's this all about? Why can't you just chill and we still see each other? We'll take, if we want to get it to that next step, we can do that. Like, but why are you like trying to do this in week 3?
I think some
Why
people
are you feeling so fucking hurt? Like, clearly you're not dealing with anyone else, which is fine. It makes me feel a lot more comfortable, sexually at least, with you. But like, come on, like, I mean,
here's the thing, though. I think some people think like sex is the end all be all, and what I know about you is you value your time.
Yeah, because I don't have very much of it.
No, and some people
taken up.
Some people will think giving them sex is like the most important thing. And I go, no, look, I can give out my dick prior to getting married again. Like I just say that. Yeah. I can give out my dick, but giving out my time. Ooh.
I mean, we're talking about, you know, it is tough for me to spend time with my own daughter. If I pick her up and I, you know, take her home, but even if I see her, you know, between then and then, she has to go to bed at a certain time. Like even today, it's supposed to be 9 o'clock. And typically she goes to bed around 9. That's about, and granted, it's the weekend. So now she stays up a little bit later. It's different. But during the week, that's how it is. Plus she doesn't live with me. You add that in, you know, Justice's birthday was yesterday, NBA Finals. Like I do this with you. Like there's so many different factors that go into it. Then when a weekend comes, hell, I want to go to the gym. Maybe my brothers want to hang out with me. Maybe there's a friend that's in town that I don't get to see. And then like, but the woman is trying to like, yeah. And now it's obvious that like, I am not 100% committed to you. So if I'm not 100% committed to you, then it puts it in that situation of where, well, then you can go on your own mind and you can go in and think that I'm dealing with somebody else. But half the time it's not even that. Maybe there's a night that I just want to go to sleep and I don't want to even be bothered. Like there are days where I want to be by myself too. Like,
hey, let me be vulnerable real quick. It took my now wife a while to realize that I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to Atlanta. And she's thinking I'm living the what Atlanta seems like life. I go,
yeah, I mean, you're going to places and motherfuckers are looking at you like your future.
Yeah, like and what I like explain to her, and when other people ask me about, hey, when you go to Atlanta, what you be doing? I'll be like, nah, you just go to my friend's house and we get really drunk. And that's kind of
We might go to a bar.
We might go to a bar. It's nothing notable. I can't introduce you to any women, honestly. Like our nights are usually it's a reunion, so it's a bunch of friends who like each other getting together, hanging out, trying to drink like we did in our late teens, early 20s.
Might get some food,
and talk. Like that's honestly all we do. We're not scammers and drug dealers, so this making it rain and all that stuff, that's not a regular occurrence.
Or just tricking on some hoes just to be like, yeah, man, I got these bitches over here. What's up? Like, you know.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, we done spent collectively 5 racks tonight for 7 minutes of pleasure. No, we're not doing that. Like, I forgot who I was telling. I'm like, bro, the cost of ass in Atlanta's too expensive for that.
It is. That's why once you wrap up what you got, it's like, and I'm not talking about even a girlfriend, but I'm just saying, you got a consistent group.
Yeah,
they stick to that because if as long as you're laying it down correctly, they're gonna keep coming back. I mean,
but you try to keep going to the market, bro. You see how inflation is. Don't nobody want to buy a house right now. Hey, man, we had 2 hours. You want to talk about Drake, or you just want to call it a night?
We can touch on it for a little bit. Let's do a rapid fire 5 minutes on it.
All right, honestly, Nevermind. We actually titled I titled this Honestly Nevermind because when I first did it, when I first made the link, I was like, somebody asked.
I'm good on listening to this shit.
Exactly, but then I gave it a second listen, and I go, this reminds me of San Diego. And then I started seeing some posts about the album and stuff, and I go, No, this makes perfect sense because this album is very, very much so a EDM-ish, poppy.
House.
Like I'm gonna hear it in a mixed crowd. It's not hip hop at all. He has one hip hop song on there, and I was telling one of my homeboys earlier today on Facebook about it. I go, you know what I think Drake did? I think he was tired of the EDM DJs making his songs EDM. He was like, you know what? I'm gonna EDM it the right way. Here's how it's supposed to sound. Don't change this. Play it this way. And honestly, that shit like it's not my favorite Drake album, but that shit bop. Like
I think it's gonna be an album that appreciates much better over time.
Yeah, like unlike Scorpion.
Yeah, I don't like Scorpion.
Scorpion's a car. I think this album's gonna be a house. I think it's gonna appreciate with time.
Yeah, and it's about time for Drake.
Yeah,
in a sense of he has never made he's experimenting album.
No, this is his 808s and heartbreaks. I'm not trying to catch the vibe because what Drake does better than any other artist is he catches a vibe. He knows what the people want to hear, and he'll make his music around that. And I think he finally made what he wanted to make. Similar to Views, but he still had some shit on Views that was like, this is for the masses. He didn't make shit for the masses. He didn't give us a summer anthem. We got to wait for Chris Brown next week or Beyonce in July for the summer anthem.
Yeah, or I'm trying to think who else.
Nobody, because Stubbs locked up, so he ain't gonna give us nothing for the summer.
Hey, do you think that with the Beyonce aspect of it, because it said Renaissance Act 1, you think that maybe Jay-Z has an album called Act 2 something?
There's an Act 2 that involves them two making money and going on another tour together.
There could be that.
You know,
or Act 3 being them two together, or
it's something.
Yeah, but we get maybe one more Jay-Z, because Jay's got to give us one more album.
Jay's got to give us one more.
That way with 444.
He's got to give us one more tour. Damn, another album. I need another tour.
I need another Jay album. Because if he does album, he's gonna do a tour. We need one more Jay album. I would love to get another Watch the Throne. And
I need to get I gotta get a Beyonce tour because I've not seen Beyonce live, and I gotta see her before she hangs it up.
Well, they'll offer it for the. We've seen her twice. I saw her twice at the Georgia Dome. I went to both the On the Runs. And
yeah, I could have went to one. I could have went to the Beyonce tour with that album, and I just didn't go. I skipped out on the Beyonce tour and the Anti tour in the same summer, and I had the money in my fund budget to go, and I just didn't go, and I'm still mad at myself. Almost
the On the Run we got really hammered, like extremely hammered. Like honestly, we drank way too much for that.
I don't care if we're on the run.
Well, it just, you're there, and Jay is, promoting Magna Carta. That was kind of the latest album he had. Yeah. He was doing, My Name is Ho. I mean, he was giving you what you want, but like at the same time, there definitely were more Beyonce's concerts. Like,
well, because the Beyonce, that's what the people are there for. Like Beyonce is gonna have the women, have the.
Let me tell you something, because we didn't even talk about our weekends. But obviously, last weekend I went to see Coldplay.
How was that? I saw you at that.
It was honestly fucking. See, so I like Coldplay. Like I actually like Coldplay. I have probably on my Spotify like 15 Coldplay songs.
Okay, so you're like a legit fan.
Coldplay. Yeah, I would say of all the bands of the 21st century, I have definitely the ones I listen to the most. And then two.
Hey, let's cut this in like 2 minutes. I gotta go to the bathroom bad.
Okay. I would say that they probably are the best band of it. They've sold over 100 million records. It was a European-esque type crowd. Man, it was sold out. I bet it was fun. It was the first concert I've been to post
COVID.
Yep. And like
worth it.
Honestly, aesthetically, it was probably the best concert I've ever been to.
That's beautiful.
My wife is great too. Like do you like any Coldplay songs? Viva La Vida. I used to rule the world. Seen sometimes.
I love that song. Yeah.
Clocks. Everybody's They got play a song.
Yeah, so I would enjoy that concert. And it goes back to the Drake album, man.
Live music. Like, if you like live music.
I love live music.
Chris Martin sounds exactly the same. Like, I was hoping they were going to do Homecoming. Like, I was hoping he would just do Kanye's just to do the hook.
Here's the thing, man. I even though I don't know the songs, I'd have a great time. Like, I enjoy live music. I enjoy being around people who love a good time. I enjoy the vibes. I enjoy all of that stuff, man. Hey, my wife gave me a bomb-ass facial today, though. She's not even an esthetician, but, like, my skin is glowing right now.
She went crazy, huh?
Yeah, and my barber went crazy with the Jalen Rose, too.
Well, and she wardrobe check as well.
Yeah, she did. Juneteenth over July 4th.
What are those? Those shirts are 3, 4 years old?
2 years.
2? We did it in 2020?
Yeah.
Yes, it was right after the
pandemic.
Floyd.
George Floyd, absolutely.
Okay.
Hey, man, it's been good talking to you.
Absolutely, brother. We went the distance with this one, but another gem in my opinion.
I know this is one of our better ones, and we did very little prep.
Very little prep, and then I love.
Yeah, we opened with 20 minutes of music that we
didn't not even in our notes. Talk about that we were going to talk about. Because of ramen noodles.
Right. These are the pods I love the best.
Yeah. And we did a special edition Friday night.
Absolutely, man. I'll talk to you later. I got to talk to you about I got to get up there soon because we got to talk about some shit. We need to talk about it in person.
Let's get it done.
All right, dog.
All right. Take care, brother. Enjoy your weekend.
You too.
All right.